Oh, so you going live right now?
Yep.
Okay.
We are live. What up, Jaime?
What's going on, Brandon? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. We're going to talk some walleye for the next hour. We're going to let some people join here real quick. But how you been?
I've been good. Been getting my butt kicked on the water.
A little butt kicking on the water. You went out today, didn't you?
Yeah. Wasn't able to put it together any kind of program. I'm pre-fishing for this weekend's tournament down in the Tri-Cities, and it hasn't been the best pre-fish ever. So keep chipping away at it.
All right, I'm going to go try to share this on a couple pages real quick.
Yeah, same here.
We got 50 people in here right now. What up, everyone? Eric Broughton says, "Hey guys."
What up, Eric? Eric was earlier. He was sending me these. I'll share it with you later on. It's a little emoji. You'll get a of it. Eric's always coming with these funny memes.
Well, let's get started. Aaron Grant says, "Thanks for putting this together, y'all. Much appreciated." So, make sure you guys all stick around for the entirety of the show. Maxer is going to give away a $50 prize pack with a bunch of spinners, hat, all sorts of stuff. So, you guys make sure you stick around for that. As you can see at the top of the live stream, if you want 10% off at maxstore.com, use code JROD10. And with that, let's just get into it. Just kind of introduce yourself, Jaime. Introduce the rest of the rod crew that's there with you, and yeah.
Okay, and real quick, Britton, that giveaway, how are they able to win it? Do you have how you're gonna pick that person?
I'm gonna have one of your kids write down a number, and then everyone's gonna guess the number, and we'll reveal it at the end of the show.
Okay, cool. All right, well, yeah, like Britton said, my name is Jaime Rodriguez. J-Rod Angling. People know me on the river as J-Rod, and I pretty much fish for walleye 99% of the time. I know we live in the Pacific Northwest where we have, good salmon runs and other species, but I tend to lean more towards the walleye. I consider myself like a recreational. I'm starting to get into the tournament realm of things. I've been doing tournaments for about 3 years, but not straight. But this year is the year I decided I would like to do out of the Columbia River Walleye circuit. I would like to do at least 5 out of the 7, if not all of them.
What do you got coming up first?
This is C-Rod. What's that?
What do you got coming up first?
The first tournament's this weekend, 5th and 6th out of Clover Island in the Tri-Cities.
Nice.
And then later on this month, Umatilla. And they go to Potholes, Banks Lake, Boardman. There's a few. Kettle Falls also.
Perfect.
I'm going to be chipping away at that this year.
I guess we can get right into it. Let's just talk about some of the best times to go fish the Lower Columbia. Right now is kind of when you're going to go find some of those, those bigger girls in there. What's kind of your game plan when you get out there on the Lower Columbia this time of year?
This time of year is when I go into it. This time of year for me, and I can't say it's really been working lately because, like I said, my pre-fish hasn't been that good. But it's slower. Water's colder. The fish are that much more lethargic, and you got to slow down your presentations. You got to slow down your troll speed. We do a lot of trolling on the Columbia River, whether it be with the bottom bouncer or crankbaits. And sometimes I'll even troll jigs. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain that. But yeah, I'm going downstream like at 1 mile per hour with a 5/8 ounce jig and just plunking it off the bottom.
Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty much slow right now for as far as your presentations. And I mean, today I threw everything at them, and it didn't matter what I threw. I wasn't able to come up with. Actually, I didn't even catch a fish today. So, but I mean, in the springtime though, when stuff starts to warm up,
yeah,
my go-to presentation is the warm harness rig. Well, I have a couple go-tos, but that's the one that's probably put. What do you think? That's probably put the most fish in our boat. A warm harness fish. Yeah. Yes. No. What? He's like, nah.
So is that a is it more of you're just using the crawler harness with a smile blade, maybe some floats on it?
Yeah, we switch it up.
Yeah.
It'll be tapered bead or cha-cha floats. It's always got to have some bling on it with the smile blade. I know guys that like to do the naked thing, which pretty much it's nothing on a super slow death hook.
Yeah.
But I like to throw bling on it.
So what do you want? Why the smile blade then?
For me, the small blade, I mean, because there's all kinds of different spinners out there, and the small blade, it does it for me. It's got an array of colors. You could match practically any type of forage base with the small blade because they come in, like I said, all kinds of colors and sizes. And I usually tend to stick to the 1.1s and the 1.5 on the small blades. I have gone to what is that, the 0.9 you guys have written?
The 1.9, yeah.
No, the point.
Oh, the 0.8, yeah.
The 0.8, excuse me. Yeah, the 0.8. That one, I've had some success on the river with that. But on the Columbia River, for me, it's mostly the 1.1 and the 1.5. In early spring, I'll experiment with. I'll mostly have like on a 1.5, and then as we come off, it gets into summer. I kind of mix it up a 1.1 and the 1.5.
Yeah.
I can't think for one works better than the other for me in my program for spring, summer. It's just a mixture. Sometimes we want a smaller presentation, and then we'll go with a 1.1. But if we want a bigger profile, a 1.5. But it seems like we're mixed in the spring, summer as far as our small blade.
Yeah. When you're hitting the river, what kind of structure are you looking for?
I like to focus on. I probably have like my top 5, and it'd be peninsulas, islands, current breaks. At the top of my head, weed lines is real good in the springtime. Shallow, and like a mouth of a river,
Sure.
or creek that tends to hold fish in the spring and in the summer. Even right now, those are kind of like my general areas I like to focus on all year actually.
Mark Hall wanted to know. We can talk about speeds for a little bit. Obviously we're trolling real slow regardless, but where are you ranging speed wise?
Want to know in general this time of year or in the spring?
Well, we'll start this time of year and then get into spring.
So today I was trolling from 0.7 to 1.1. And I usually stick to that, again, slower. And that's speed over ground, Mark. It's basically what it says on your electronics. That's where I kind of based it on. And then as the water temperature warms up, then I'll speed up.
Sure.
You have 1.5 when it gets warmer. Summertime when the water's like 68, 69 degrees. This past summer, it hit like a record. It was like 70. It was like 71 for like a week.
Yeah.
And I was going like 2.1 speed over ground. I was cruising.
Yeah. So while you're trolling that slow, are you bottom bouncing? Is that kind of your general go-to?
Yeah. Definitely for the springtime when the fish come off the spawn and they're wanting to get back on the feed, they come up shallow they're ambush predators, walleye. So they'll hang out in the weeds, or they'll hang out on the other side of a rock pile or any kind of structure, and you see anything floating by, and then they're gonna come out of their hiding where they're at, and they're gonna attack. And a bottom bouncer is a good way to fish both the weeds and say rock piles or underground islands, because with the bottom bouncer you could actually And then if you just imagine, there's like a hump in the water, you could tick along both sides of that and fish it successfully, as opposed to maybe a crankbait where you might run right into it and snag up.
Sure.
So you have more chances of snagging up on some type of structure. And then if you have a crankbait and weeds, you're gonna more than likely pull a bunch of weeds up.
Sure.
So yeah, there's the bottom bouncer in weedy areas. You will have your bottom bouncer and your presentation behind. So then your bottom bouncer acts as like your deflector, so it'll keep the weeds off of your presentation, and you'll get them too on your presentation. But the idea is that bottom bouncer kind of clears the path.
Sure. Daniel Turlington asked, where do you typically find the most depth kind of right now and then or at depth? So he's asking about depths, now and then going into spring and summer. How does that change, and does it change?
It does change. I believe it changes, and it changes for a quick period, I guess you could say. I know the walleye are deep right now, and that'll change come spring. They'll want to come up shallower. But then when that water gets hot again, after that, and they're going to go back to that deep water.
Sure.
When you're deep, you're like 40 plus. I know that are fishing like 90 feet for walleye right now, and that again, it's that watery version where the cooler water is going to be in the summertime is going to be on the bottom when the water's hot on the surface. Right now, it's the warmer water down there.
Yeah.
So that's where it'll change. It's going to be a not necessarily a quick window where you can fish shallow, but just right after the spawn and once kind of the water, because they have spring run and all that stuff, right when the water kind of clears up and they come off the spawn, it should be good springtime fishing.
And so
that's favorite time to target them, just because it's you can catch every time you put your line out. There's always that chance of catching a big fish, and it could be any time of the year. But it's just, you got better weather. Like today I got hit with rain and wind and I was soaked and I was miserable. And, springtime, it's nice weather, and you're catching fish and stuff like that. And what do you think? When's your good time to go out? Huh? Summer, so you get a tan or why summer?
Kind of digging into that, going from depth and then back to bottom bouncers. Do you have like a rule of thumb of what you like to do, weight wise on your bottom bouncers, depending on depth?
Well, so the general rule of thumb is every ounce is so 10 feet. So if you're fishing 10 feet of water, you're gonna go with 1 ounce. But then that's your general rule of thumb right there. So 30 feet, you're gonna have a 3 ounce. But you also got to factor in current and wind. There's other factors to it. So I can give you an example. Today I was bottom bouncing in about 35 feet. There was no current, and I was able to use a 1 ounce bottom bouncer to get it down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And I don't take too much, because I'm gonna be tournament fishing, stuff like that. But you always kind of want to have that 45-degree angle on your line, 3 ounce and no current and slow speeds. You're going to be almost vertical on your your rod tip and your line angle. So you want to kind of keep that 40. That's another general rule of thumb. That's no secret. You want to have like a 45-degree angle on your line.
Cool.
So I switch it up and just go just a little bit lighter.
Right on. Colors. Let's talk colors. So we kind of touched on it earlier. You have some favorite go-tos, your coppers, your chartreuses. Early in the season, spring fishing. What's your starting lineup? Without giving away all your tournament secrets.
Well, hold on though. How'd you know copper was one of my favorites?
Well, you wrote an article in the Mack Attack about copper.
Yeah. Okay. I wrote an article helping. That day was over. So yeah. definitely has a place in my. But so I like purples. I like like you said, my chartreuses, my greens, coppers. I like the UV burst and the purple haze, where those actually kind of give off a different type of sheen depending on water clarity and the sun. So those are actually up there in my favorites too. I don't know if I have any of. Oh, I like this gold scale.
Gold scale.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, gold scale. That's always a go-to. Big colors. But that's kind of in general. Even with my cranks and my jigs and stuff like that, I kind of stick to those colors. In general, I guess. I mean, reds and blues. Yeah, I've played with them a little bit. I've had some success, and I know some guys that have a little bit more success, but I kind of stick to like the golds and purples and stuff like that.
C-Rod's turn. What's your favorite color?
I'll probably have to go with purple.
Purple?
Yeah.
Purple and gold? This is a cougar podcast.
No, she's up there in UW right now.
I saw that.
That's deadly in some shallow water too.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bobby and Richie like purple and gold too.
Oh, really?
So when you're trolling, you trolling with the current upriver, you trolling downriver. How you trolling with the current?
And again, your general rule when you're bottom bouncing is you're gonna go with the current, and when you're using crankbaits, you're gonna go against the current. So, does anybody have any questions about bottom bouncing on there, Britton, or crankbaits or anything like that?
No, but we can just jump right into it. So, explain the difference there. So, bottom bouncing, you're going with the current. And what's the reason for that?
A lot of it to do with the line angle on your rod tip. If you're going against the current with a 3-ounce bottom bouncer, you're gonna have to let out a lot of line to even. Sometimes you won't even make it to the bottom because the current just keeps kind of pushing up your bouncer. But you can do it. You have to have the right weight, and you got to keep your eye on the current. If it's current, if you're in heavy current or off the heavy current, I wouldn't even bother. Just go with the current and try to get it down maybe with the 3 ounce. Your current slows down, you can flip around on them, and because you're in the river, of course, that's what we have to deal with out here on the rivers is currents and current breaks. So just be mindful of that. But again, you can get it done going against the current with the bottom bouncer. And with the crankbait, for me, on the crankbaits going against the current, it's easier for me to maintain bottom contact and more, what's that word I'm trying to find, more consistent, where it's not necessarily digging so much. I've flipped around before and gone with the current on a crankbait, and for me, I'm not able to really dial in my exactly how much line I have out. But again, this is all. And this is what the fun thing is for you to go out there and experience this and trial and error yourself. Because I know if I gave myself just a little bit more time, a little bit more patience, I would probably have both upstream, downstream with whatever. But at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to the learning curve, getting out there, experience it. But just kind of stick to that. And then you can kind of play from there. So just, downstream with bottom bouncers and then against the current with your crankbait.
Now, do you use, drift socks or anything to control your speed with and without the current?
Did you ask me that question? Say yeah? Yeah, it all depends. Drift socks, and I usually use 2 small ones, but, the bigger they are, the more drag it's going to create for your boat. So I was thinking about just acing those 2 and getting a bigger one. I haven't done that yet, but drift socks definitely help, especially when you're in the walleye chop, the debatable chop. Does it exist? I'm a believer. It's gonna walleye chop it. I've had a lot of good days, if not my best days, when you have 2 3 foot. I wouldn't say 4 footers because that becomes miserable.
We've done that together.
Yeah, dude, that was in yeah. See, so I know you're a believer too.
I'm a believer. That was a hell of a day.
But yeah, I was gonna say so. But yeah, the walleye chop is always good.
Now, do you do any jigging at all, other than up with Eric in the Lower Columbia? Do you jig at all?
Yes, yep. I'll dig. I can't say that it's my go-to, but jigs, blade baits, glide baits, where you at? Sonic baits, sonic bait fish. They all work on the Columbia and all year round, all that. And for me, I become impatient when I have to deal with boat control. It's the best, I can operate my boat, but boat control is key when you're jigging. You gotta be on your bow mount pretty good, and then you gotta really keep a good eye on the current. So sometimes I'm just like,
Sure. All right, another question. Hey J-Rod, when is your preferred conditions to pull a plug versus bottom bouncing? And then the same question for jigs. Is there certain water conditions where you get out there and you decide, hey, I today's the day I need to be pulling, crankbaits or plugs, and vice versa, whether just the conditions indicate that it's a bottom bouncing bite.
So a crankbait can only dive so much. It can only without unassisted long lining. So it's gonna be for me. It's gonna be where I think the fish are gonna be holding, because they'll hit a crankbait or a bottom bouncer rig. But so if I know the fish are gonna be like in 35, 40 feet, to get a crankbait down there and to successfully, run that depth, you're gonna need either lead core or you're gonna need a snap weight. With a bottom bouncer, you could get down there and fish those depths comfortably and maintain contact with the bottom and be actually fishing. You don't get me wrong, you can do it, but for me, I think if I feel like the bite's gonna be shallow, I'll run more crankbaits, and that's gonna dictate too if there's any weeds, if there's any kind of structure, stuff like that. But if it's deeper, then I'm gonna go probably with the warm harness rigs.
Perfect. Hooks. You like big hooks, small hooks, slow death hooks, super slow death hooks? Let's go through them.
So on super slow death 100%. The slow death, they have the corkscrew, they have the cam action hook, but the super slow death it has the gauge wire is just a little bit more tough for these big girls out on the Columbia. Because I ran the slow death, and that wire hook on the slow death will come out after a couple fish. And this is my experiences. So all my stuff's all super slow death, thicker gauge wire, and it's more durable. They're both as sharp, but just with that gauge wire being that much more thicker, they just hold its form longer, I guess I should say. And then with my worm harness rigs, it's I use 2 different sizes. On my trailer hook, I use a size 4, and so that'd be my trailer. And then so the main hook, I use a size 2.
Okay.
I know some guys who use all size 2s, which is fine, but I tend to go just a little bit smaller on my trailer hook on my worm harness rig.
Awesome.
What hook we got? We got the spin drift. I like the spin drift hook.
Lance Murs chimed in earlier, and he's a true believer in the spin drift. And you want to explain the spin drift hook for people? Do you have one hanging out anywhere there?
Yeah.
So it's a slow motor hook system.
Yeah, so the spin drift for me is because obviously you have nice gauge wire hook, but it's on this swivel that kind of creates that spinning action. And then the setup alone, just apart from the hook, is we do a lot of one cha-cha floats when we tie our stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes, going from a double, and you want to make your presentation that much smaller. So guess what? You just drop a cha-cha float, put it on a spin drift, and now you have a smaller presentation on a 1-1. So there's a couple reasons why I like this rig specifically. Again, the hook gives it that swirl in the water. Then we're dropping our presentation down from 2 cha-cha floats from an original cha-cha rig to a spin drift.
Worms. We're using real worms, right? No artificial worms.
No, artificials is like just because you ran 5 dozen of the worms and you're looking through your boat like I have to have something, and you find these artificial worms, but they just I don't know. You gotta have the real deal.
Real worms. No questions asked. Real worms.
Yeah, real worm. And have a bunch with you too because there's so much bycatch on the Columbia River. You got small bass, big bass, perch, catfish, sturgeon, and you'll easily go through what 5, 6, 7 dozens in a day. What's our record? Just go through a lot of worms. Yeah. Yeah. So make sure you have a good supply chain of walleye or of worms because we will go through them on the Columbia for sure.
Now we got another worm question, and you've done videos on this before, but the best way to thread your worm on. So we can start with how you're threading it onto a slow death hook, and then how do you pinch it off on a crawler? What do you what's your etiquette on putting night crawlers on?
For the super slow death, it's whole worm originally, then thread it through all the way up.
Over the eye or not over the eye?
So you're gonna go over the eye, and then also too when I tie mine, even when you tie yours, I'll show you guys. Here's a super slow death rig right here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let me see if you guys could see this. Oh yeah, that tag end right there. You're gonna go over that tag end. That tag end is gonna act like a how can I say this? It's gonna engage that worm. That way it doesn't slip off. It's gonna act like a hook itself. That tag end on the line. So the head of the worm is gonna go up through that. Even if it's a little bit past it, you're good. And then about halfway, you're gonna want to expose your hook. And kind of depending on the bite, if it's a finicky bite, I'll chop some worm off the back. But if it's an aggressive bite, it's not going to matter. They're just going to come and pretty much take it whole. But if you got this much of worm, and it's a finicky bite, they're just gonna, by the time they get to your hook, they're gonna be full, and they're gonna lose interest. So yeah, use that tag in. It'll really help you hold that worm up there, all the way through the eye, all the way through the tag end of that hook. And for the double hook setup, it's not even a thread. It's literally, you just grab your hook, and you see it, and the head goes just once through, boom, just like that. It just goes right through. I don't do no threading or anything. I just literally just poke my hook through, and on the trailer hook too, just poke it. Nothing fancy on my double worm harness rigs.
One of the cool things about Smile Blade, not only did we have it in 5 different sizes and 40 plus colors, you can kind of manipulate its action, right? So you can tighten it down for like a little bit more shake and spin, and then you can widen it out to get a little bit more slow rolling wobble. Is that something you do?
Oh yeah, if you really think about it, it's almost like how you tune a crankbait, how you it's almost just like you're tuning your rig. It's whether it's like you said, give it a little pinch or open it. I play with it every day is a little different, but straight out of the package or straight from when we tie our own stuff, it gets something. And I can't say that I favor one or the other, but it's almost just like you said, you get more erratic motion when you pinch it down. Uh, Maybe I might widen mine on a 1.5 if I'm going slower, just to kind of get a little bit more width in your presentation, I guess. But yeah, definitely you could definitely tune up your small blades.
Yep. Now, you've shown a couple of rigs? Do you have anything else tied up that you'd want to show, or kind of just walk them through? Why you did this and why you did that? Because you're not using everything straight out of the package, and I don't want you to give away all your secrets. But some people you talked about, they like to basically just fish a slow death hook naked. Some other people just use one bead or two beads and a smile blade, which is essentially just a slow death rig. You like to play with the cha-chas and stuff. Obviously you like to play around quite a bit, and that's the beauty of fishing, is you can kind of tie everything up. Especially with our product line, we sell everything as a component.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. I mean, yeah, you can get them out of the package like you said, but when you can really get in there and see what the forage base is, see what the time of year that a certain species is hatching to hatch. You guys heard that term before. And you can really dial it in with, like you said, components, colors of all colors, and beads of all colors, and we kind of just took that to not necessarily another level, but we love to come up with something and that could catch a 12, 13 pound walleye.
Do you ever play with the Walleye Pops?
Oh yeah, I actually snagged one today. R.I.P. Walleye Pop. Yeah, those are sweet too, and I tend to lean towards those in the early spring, just because they have that scent chamber where it becomes. So you're out there and it's cold, and you don't have that many bites and stuff, and you want to pull out all the stumps, and the Walleye Pop has that scent chamber built in, so that's just you're just adding to, hopefully you're gonna get striped, you're gonna get bit by having that scent chamber create that scent trail. So yeah, this is kind of like my early winter, early spring type rig right here. Like I said, I ran the heck out of it today, and it just wasn't my day.
Have you ever put a wiggle hoochie bill on the top of that instead of the beads and smile blade?
I haven't, but I know somebody. I was with somebody that has.
Yeah. We haven't played with it much, but
yeah, that'd be definitely something. I think I've seen some rigs tied up. I think Ted might have a few.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I know Bobby tied a bunch up too.
Yeah, and that's definitely something worth playing around with.
Asked about Walleye Pop bodies. We do not sell the Walleye Pop bodies, but we do sell the surgical tubing. So you can go online and buy surgical tubing. You just buy surgical tubing, stack beads, and floats.
Okay, can you repeat that again? Because I've been asked that also too. So you have the body, but the body is the surgical tubing because it goes on a cha-cha float, right?
Yeah, so you just wrap the surgical tubing over a cha-cha float and then connect it with a stack bead up top.
Oh, so you guys do sell the tubing?
We sell the tubing in a few different colors, but that's generally how it is. But we don't sell the bodies themselves. We just sell obviously the lure.
Sweet, cool. Yeah, I had a couple guys ask about that too.
Eric Broughton, Wiggle Hoochie. Let's see what else we got here. Eric wants to know again. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but your favorite type of structure. We still have a bunch of people on here, so maybe if you want to touch on that again. He asked, you fish islands, current, streams, humps, sand, or gravel, and you mentioned streams and you like to get out on the peninsulas and stuff, but just kind of touch on that again.
Yeah, especially, I mean, if you're familiar with the river, and this is, Columbia River goes through the whole state of Washington, and these areas that you just mentioned are throughout. When you give in my belief anyway, when you give a walleye an opportunity to go from, say on that's one side of the peninsula it's deep and the other side's shallow. When you give, when not to say actually they give when the walleye have that kind of environment, I believe that it's kind of where they hang out. They have an option. They have an option to go, hey, I want to go deep. I want to hang out in this deep water over here. But when it's time to come up shallow to chase these bait fish, it's just right. It's just right around the corner. So when you have that kind of structure, you kind of want to fish those areas. When you're, especially if you're new to the area, you kind of want to break down the area, go and check out those areas first. And like you mentioned, it's a mouth of a creek, it's a peninsula, islands, sunken islands, and you won't see a lot of this stuff. A lot of the stuff you will see, excuse me, but a lot of it too is going to be, through the help of your electronics. So you really have to invest a little bit into your electronics and get the proper chips and the proper GPS stuff, so you can see what's happening under the surface, and that's where you'll find rock piles or sunken islands, and those areas tend to hold fish also because it's an ambush point. They're just waiting for something to jump out, and they can just get their meal and then go right back to where they're at hanging out. So rock piles, sunken islands, and then again when there's deep water adjacent to shallow water, and you have some kind of structure in between, definitely worth checking out, especially if you're trying to break down a body of water. And that's kind of that's what I stick to this day.
Sure.
Sometimes they hold fish, and sometimes you just gotta just keep trying. Walleye, I've heard people say that they're easy to catch. They might be easy to catch, but they're not easy to find. They're roaming species. They're schooling species. So one day they'll be there, and the very next day they're gone. So you have to just really stay on it, and that's kind of what intrigues me with always, going for these fish, is because when you think you have it figured out, they have something else in mind.
Richie says, hello, boys. What up, Richie? Sorry about your bad night, Richie. We weren't going to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it because you get out and do a lot of night fishing, and I haven't done any night fishing, but I think a lot of people would like to know a little bit about, what time of night? You looking at moon phases? What are you doing out at night? They want to know about scent too.
This time of year, you better be lathering you guys' presentations up. Just clear that stuff up, man, because again, you're cold, you're out there, you're pulling out all the stops, you got your super gel that stays on there, you might smell a little garlicky every now and then, but that just gives you that much more chance of actually catching a fish, because it's in the wintertime, you're successful, but if you're only getting one or two bites, you got to pull out all the stops, you got to pull out your scent. So
bloody tuna, garlic, trophy walleye.
Trophy walleye, let me see, night crawler blend. My go-to's shad scent. I've been playing with some of the eel stuff. But so back to your question, you want to talk about fishing?
Night fishing.
So night fishing is fun. I actually wanted to show you the hot wing rig that that I'll attach to a crankbait, and we'll get this going. So yeah, night fishing. First off, let me say, big girls go back.
Yes.
So we're firm believers over here, and with Team Max that we're hunting, we're getting our trophies, we want to get our personal best. We want to get a replica, and we want to put it on the wall. But in order to do that, we have to do our part and do some type of conservation, which we have to let some of these fish go, so we can continue this into to the future. I'm not no scientist, or biologist, but I know that you release fish full of eggs, we're gonna have fish for the future. So anyway, yeah, night fishing, I tend to. So you have your moon phase, but you can catch fish with no moon, in all moon phases. And I know a lot of guys, and confidence level wise too. You got the full moon, and for me too, you get the full moon. Okay, now your confidence level goes up a little bit. General rule of thumb is, was it the 3 days, 7 days prior to the full moon, and like the same amount after the full moon. We just came off the full moon, and did I fish it? Yeah, I fished it, and I didn't do too good. But then again, you have a new moon, which is no moon, and you hammer them. So you can stick with the moon phase and stuff, but when it's time to go fish, you gotta go and
You gotta go fishing.
yeah.
Do you use any glow at night? Lights, anything?
No, I've experienced with glow. Wait, did I say that right? What did I say? I experimented or experienced?
Experienced.
Experimented. My bad. Experimented with glow, and I can't say that it's the or lighted. I can't say that it's the next best thing. But it's because the walleye, they have the tapetum lucidum, and if nobody's familiar with that, or if you guys are, it's a special pigment in the tissue of their eye, and it allows them to see in the dark, in cloudy conditions, low light. So you have that mixed with their predator species, and the lateral line. If you guys are not familiar with that, it extends to the whole side of their body, their entire body, and that's like their triggering mechanism. So you have this ultimate predator that can see at night. They don't need much. They'll feel it before they see it, and then when they do see it, they'll smell it, and then they'll bite it. So the lighted glow stuff, like I said, I played with it, but I haven't found much success with it. And the same goes with UV. I'm a believer in UV. There's some stuff out there I wish I could share with you. There's some stuff online that says walleye can't see UV, and I don't know. Who knows? People say that they can. People say that they can't. But I like UV in my cranks. I like UV in my Max products and my worm harnesses. So I want to say, what do you got, Britton? Half of you guys' stuff is UV.
Yeah, and then most of our beads, anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if we make a lure that doesn't have some type of UV in it.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Especially, I'll charge them up with the UV light. Daytime fishing, and just boom, get it down there. And for the cranks too, if I could get a little UV in each and every one of my crankbaits, my confidence will go up that much more. I'm more of a UV guy than a glow guy.
Yeah.
And that is two different things.
Do you use anything other than crankbaits at night? Maybe.
Is somebody asking that? You asking me that, Brittany?
Someone else is asking that.
Oh, okay. General rule of thumbs, go-to is crankbaits.
Daniel Keenkin has asked 3 times now. Do you ever bottom bounce downstream and then crankbait back upstream?
Was that Daniel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good way to cover water, especially if you know the fish are there.
Just see what the bite is.
Yeah. So you could do that, and especially if you're marking them, and maybe they didn't want to take your presentation going down. You know, you're marking fish like, you know, maybe they need something different, and then you put that crank, you go right up, and guess what? They're there. You know, and that's the same with jigs. A lot of guys, they cover water by trolling, and then once they find the school, they turn around and just jig on them. It's easier.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely do that a lot.
Okay. We got 10 minutes left. Let's get a giveaway going. Do you have a pen and paper?
No, but I can get one.
I have one right here. I'll write a number down.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap up with a few more questions. I'm going to have them guess a number between 1 and 200. I'm going to write down the number now.
So who's guessing? Whoever's on?
All the listeners are guessing for a $50 walleye pack from Mack.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to text you the numbers so you know I'm not cheating.
Okay. And what are we giving away, Britton? We giving away
There'll be a bunch of crawler harnesses, some of the new Slow Death stuff, a hat. But yeah, it'll be $50 worth of stuff. We'll get it out the door tomorrow to whoever wins.
Sweet.
I'm gonna send the number over. Everyone guess once. Only your first guess works. Closest to the number in the next 5 minutes will win. And it's 1 out of 200.
So whoever guesses closest. Wait, no, excuse me. Whoever guesses your number or closest to your number wins.
Yep.
Sweet. All right, 1 to 200, guys. Let's see it.
While everyone guesses numbers, remember it's just 1 through 200. Closest wins a $50 Max gift card, Max package. Another question we didn't get to earlier and we haven't really talked about is leader length. So are you longer? Are you shorter? What are you doing? Changing up by season?
General rule is for me is from here to about here. So that's about, I don't know, 36 inches maybe, a little longer. That's my general rule, and I've gone longer and I've gone shorter. Shorter if I'm fishing more in the weeds, and longer if I feel like I need to have more of a natural presentation. A little longer, so it kind of just flutters a little bit back behind the bottom bouncer. But just general rule is general rule is just freaking give it one of these and you're good.
Perfect. What else? We got a bunch of people coming in. Reminder, if you're just now tuning in, guess a number between 1 and 200 to win a Max Lure $50 prize pack for walleye. We have quite a few in here. My grandpa says 55. What's up, Papa? Question. Do you fish Portland, Vancouver area at all? Do you ever get down that far?
No, but I will be in the Dalles April 2nd. Actually, Britton, if I could put that plug in here, right now.
Yeah, we need to talk about the Walleye Willie shootout. Yep.
Yeah, Walleye Willie shootout in memorial of Walleye Willie Ross. We're holding a shootout for him. All funds go to breast cancer awareness in the name of him and his wife. And all it is you come down, $25 asking donation fee, and we fish. And whoever records the longest bass or the longest walleye wins. They're going to be doing drawings, raffles. It's going to be a fun day. April 2nd, 3rd. If weather is crazy on the 2nd, we're going to do it on the 3rd. But we have it set for April 2nd. I'll be down there. The Lower Columbia Walleye Club will be down there. And we have John, Lisa, and Hyman, John and Lisa Farquharson,
Mm-hmm.
and Simon, and a bunch of other people involved. And this is just to celebrate Walleye Willie.
Yep. Maxler's sponsoring it. We'll have a bunch of gift cards.
Yep,
Sorts of
you
fun
guys
stuff.
you guys be a part of it too. Yep. And whoever asked that question, I don't. Who was it that asked the Portland area?
Uh, Joseph Go. I'm gonna not get his last name right. Gomulkowicz.
Joseph.
Gomulkowicz.
Yep. Okay, Joseph. After the seminar tonight, go to Facebook page of Lower Columbia Walleye Club. They're based out of Portland, and they have their meetings. They have monthly meetings. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to be talking on Thursday on a Zoom for them this Thursday. So get with them, and they're real familiar with those areas of the Columbia River.
They're asking how to sign up for the Walleye Willie. They have a Facebook page, right? The Walleye Willie Shootout, Memorial Shootout.
Yeah, it's got its own dedicated Facebook page. Go to Walleye Willie. You got it?
I tagged it in there.
Go there, and then you'll see a link for a donation, and we'll be at Dallas. We're meeting there, but the unique thing about it is you're able to fish in any body of water. The rules are all on that page, but so basically, if you wanted to go to Rufus, you can launch there and fish. So it's gonna be fun.
All right, last call for guesses. Guess a number between 1 and 200 to win a $50 max prize pack. Let's see, what else we got here? Are you running braids straight to the plugs and your bottom bouncers, or do you do some monofluoro on your leaders? What are you doing?
Braid on all my all my reels and my rods is going to be braid. It's going to be 12, 15 pound braid on my trolling crank rods, 10, 12 pound on my jigging rods, braid, and with about 2 or 3 foot on my jigging, but about 4 or 5 foot of some fluorocarbon top shot with a blood knot to crankbait snap. And yeah, I go with the fluorocarbon leader.
Cool. Well, should we announce a winner? We got quite a few people. Last call.
I think
give another 30 seconds.
I seen somebody who had the exact number.
There was 2 people 3 numbers off.
I seen one person with the exact number.
Was it?
I swear.
They're off by 3.
Oh, my bad. What's that when you see numbers upside down?
Dyslexic.
So what are you gonna do?
So 30 more seconds. I guess a number between 1 and 200. Jaime, while we wait, let people know how they can follow you, see you on YouTube, all that sort of stuff.
All right. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's J-Rod Angling. Instagram, it's at Fishing with the Rods. YouTube, J-Rod Angling. I need a few more subscribers so I can hit 1,000. Once I hit 1,000, I gotta go live on YouTube. So it's like 70 more people or something like that, and then I'm going live on YouTube.
Go follow him. Go subscribe.
You can always find out some info at J-Rod Angling. You guys email me if you guys don't have social media. Well, I guess you have social media because you're on here. So
and all of the social media information is right down there.
And you can also find me starting tomorrow.
Oh yeah, big announcement.
At Valley Marine in Union Gap. I'm going to be joining their sales team starting tomorrow. So whoever's interested in a boat, whether it be a pleasure boat, pontoon boat, ski boat, lund boat, fishing boat, multi-species boat. I don't want to sound like a commercial, but definitely go check me out right there at Union Gap at Valley Marine. Start that gig tomorrow.
Jaime's our boat guy now. Congratulations, by the way. All right, let's give away some gear. We had 2 people guess the exact same number that was closest, and it was Mike Hatfield was the first one. He guessed 176. The number was 179. Matt Hinman also guessed 176 because Mike said it first. He's going to get the $50 pack, and Matt, I'll give you a $20 gift card to the website. So,
who's that? Matt Handyman?
Handyman. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I can't read my own writing.
Yeah, Matt. He's lucky, man. He won some stuff at the track. Excuse me, at the Happel Center. For my seminars that I did back in January.
Dope.
So, yeah, that guy's lucky.
So Mike Hatfield and Matt Hindeman, make sure you shoot Maxler a message with all your contact information. We'll get those prize packs out to you. Wait, Robert Perea said he had 177.
You might have to be
177. I don't see it. Nah, I don't see it.
Right there. Come back up. Oh, that.
Anyways, yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, if you want to get a hold of Jaime, make sure you go follow him on all the social media. And now we take off for the night. I hope you have a good first day at work.
Yeah, hope I sell a boat.
Sell a boat day one. Let's do it.
All right.
All right, everyone. We're going to take off. I'll answer some questions here in the comments when we get done. And, yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Nice to see you guys. Rod Crew is always welcome on the Maxler channel.
All right. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Brandon.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.